I'm Arthur Moats, and I'm here to tell you about my new book, The Moats Theory of Life. If you haven't picked up a copy yet, I strongly encourage you to. This book not only is a fun read, but it's a guide to helping you become a person of impact and inspiration. If you are ready to take the next step to improving not only your life, but those around you as well, go get a copy of The Moats Theory of Life, and it's available at moatstheory.com. What's up? It's the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke. I'm Arthur Moats, and that's my main man, Deke.
What's up, dude?
Come on, baby, man. We got 5-0 versus 5-0 this weekend, man. You better bring that energy in here. Get your piss hot. Get it hot.
What?
We got big time game this weekend, man.
Get what hot?
Get your piss hot. Oh, I forgot, man. You got a ball, man. My ballers know exactly what I'm talking about. Holy cow.
That's funny. I mean,
you really never heard that before?
No. What's it referred to? Just get angry? Get hyped up? Is that what it is?
Just being fired up, being ready
That's
to
good.
go.
All right, I'm good with that. I'm ready.
Just, side note, have you ever played a sport?
Yeah. I played everything up until high school.
Okay.
And then I quit everything, and then just focused on golf in high school.
Okay.
But yeah, I played baseball.
I guess in golf, you didn't get your piss hot in golf.
I played everything except football, actually.
Okay. Fair enough.
Hockey, baseball, basketball.
In football, because it's so physical, because of everything that goes in with it, like, yo, get your piss hot, man. We out here, we getting after it.
Understood. That was funny though, man. That was funny.
So get your energy up, man. That's what we saying. Get your energy up, baby. It's 5-0 versus 5-0. The Clash of the Titans. I don't know if you heard that before. It's the Clash of the Titans.
Are they saying that now?
Just a little. It's out there. It's a thing. It's cool
because of the 5-0 thing.
Yeah. And it's the Titans. Whole play on the team.
It's a little too much.
I'm just saying, it's good on good. 5-0 versus 5-0.
It is a good matchup.
5-star matchup. I mean, storylines galore.
Storyline.
It is. You got Ben going against Vrabel, who this is first time going against a player that coach that he played against as well. So he played against Vrabel.
Where are they coming up with this stuff?
This is everywhere. You got the nickname gate right now. We're trying to figure out a nickname for Claypool. We've seen Megatron. I mean, we've seen Mapletron, Air Canada. People are still trying to come up with a nickname.
That doesn't have to do with the Titans, though, right? In general,
this is all going on in this week.
You got to go
now.
Mapletron.
Then you also have, okay, how do we replace Devin Bush? How do they replace Taylor Lewan?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Their strength is running the ball. Our strength is stopping the run. Clash. See, that's what I'm saying. It's a ton of storylines, man. It's available if you're looking for it. I know you like to look for just Ben only quotes, but if you just look at the matchup as a whole, there are a ton of storylines, man.
I like the Claypool nickname debate. You got to go Mapletron. I thought that's what we all agreed on up to this point.
Who agreed upon that, though?
Everyone, as soon as he was drafted.
Because, see, I've heard the Air Canada stuff, and then people were saying... But then people were saying Air Canada belongs to Vince Carter.
That's what I thought, too.
But see, for me, Vince Carter was always Vince Sanity. I never called him Air Canada. So, I don't know.
What was he? Was he also half man, half amazing, or he called himself that or something? I know that was an and one guy too.
But he was definitely called that as well.
I gotta go Mapletron, dude.
I think it'll come to us, man. Whatever it is.
I think you got to go Mapletron. I think that makes the most sense.
Because some people had issues with Mapletron because it's a play on
Calvin Johnson.
Exactly. So it's like, are we trying to be your number 2 version of Calvin Johnson? You trying to be your own person? That's like if we called you Big Ben from now on, or call you Big Deke. It's like, no, that's Big Ben. You're not Big Ben. You're Deke. So you got to come with your own name.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So that was the whole reason why Mapletron people have had issues with that right now.
Man, I like it the best though.
Because it goes with Megatron. Megatron, people like Megatron because it's smooth. It rolls off.
I know it does. It's smooth. Mapletron, it's smooth.
And then people also saying, like, why do we have to pigeonhole Chase Claypool to a Canadian nickname? Like, why does it have to be Mapletron or Air Canada or something or something Canadian relevant? Why can't it just be whatever nickname we come up with? Why does it have to have something dealing with Canada?
We're trying too hard at this point.
We are. That's what I was like. I think it just has to come to us, man. Like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just whatever it is, just bam, we roll with it.
I'm good with Mapletron. I was set on that, so I didn't really know there was a conversation about this. So I'm good with that one, unless there's something better than that. Okay. I don't know if anyone's going to come up with anything better than that, to be honest with you.
Just because you can't come with something better, does that mean that that's the one, though?
I think it is the one.
I feel like that's kind of like settling. Then it's like, we're not in love with it. We can't figure this out.
When it's a good one, I don't think it's settling. That's a good nickname in my opinion.
But it's kind of stolen though.
I get what you're saying.
It is kind of stolen.
I get what you're saying.
Imagine if LeBron came out, he was like, "Oh, we're gonna call him his airness." You're like, "Whoa, that's Jordan. We can't call you that. That's him."
That's tough.
Or we already got Black Mamba, right? With Kobe was Black Mamba. What if somebody else came out and was like, oh, that's the Blue Mamba? Or that's the. I mean, I know we had the funny White Mamba with Scalabrine, but like from a serious standpoint, like you can't just take that name. Like it's only one Black Mamba. Okay. You're really trying to hijack Megatron. Like, think about that. Imagine if Megatron was here and somebody else was trying to take that name. You'll be over here like, nah, I ain't hearing that, man. No, we ain't calling him that.
I probably would be furious. Like if Claypool was Megatron and then there's a receiver that comes in.
And that was kind of how the whole issue was being brought about, man. And why people were like,
who's having issues with it?
It's a good amount. Trust me. For me to know
and
it's a good amount. For me to know it's a good amount.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I never heard about this.
Yeah, that's all I said. For it to get to me, I'm like, all right, yeah, we're seeing it enough now.
Okay. I'll trust you on that. Yeah. So, do we want to get into the other two Was it two other storylines?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's going to naturally happen anyways.
Yeah. How do you want to start?
But first off, man, we'll start with some around the league, man.
All right.
I know you want to do your hot topics. I know if anyone has a hot topic today, it's you. But to update for the people,
even think of it.
For the people that haven't heard the news yet, the Baltimore Ravens, they traded a 2021 third round pick and a 2022 conditional fifth round pick for Yannick Ngakoue, the pass rusher that was with the Minnesota Vikings this season, was drafted, had a lot of success with the Jacksonville Jaguars. They made that move to trade for him, and then they also are bringing in Dez Bryant, and they're anticipating signing him to practice squad. And this is obviously if his physical checks out and his workout goes well, which we're fully anticipating. Yeah, I think those were the two biggest things right now from a division standpoint. More so with Yannick was, I mean, a big move just because of how talented he is, a young player, and what you give up for him. Now, understandably, he does have a contract situation where you're going to be looking to either sign him potentially to a longer deal or use him as a one-year rental. I look at this move by Baltimore, though, and I think very similar to how the Steelers' mindset is right now in terms of winning now. Looking at your window saying, what can we do to maximize this opportunity? And for that Ravens defense, they're good, but they haven't had a steady, surefire edge rusher since Suggs has left. Actually Suggs, and then when Zadarius left as well, Zadarius Smith, who's now in Green Bay. Matthew Judon has been able to produce, but he's not in the same vein of TJ Watt or Bud Dupree, where you just put them out there, not scheme related, they're going to produce. With Yannick Ngakoue, he does do that. He does bring that element to the table. So I did like that move for them. Hate it for us, love it for them, though, in terms of that's a need they had. And I think, man, you pairing him back over there with Calais Campbell, I think that's going to help him out a lot as well. And I was, like I said, surprised, though, in terms of the receiver move, though. Going Dez Bryant, we saw the reports and hoopla about AB becoming potentially, he'll be coming off his suspension in the next 2 weeks after week 8. And you know, they started to hype again in terms of, man, he got some front running teams that are looking for him. Seattle has been a big name.
Seattle has been the only team that's been out there and said
the only one we're
pushing towards them.
Correct.
That's it. There's been teams behind the scenes we don't know about, and I assumed, all right, it might be Ravens because before the season they were kind of in the mix. And actually, there's really no other teams that have been in the mix. I could have teams in the back of my mind like Packers or Chiefs or something like that, but there's been no rumors about them. Yeah. So them signing Dez Bryant. I was
surprised by that because, like you said, man, before the season started, Pete Carroll did an interview where he was talking about AB, and he said that, you know, Russ was always pushing for him, and they would definitely be open to him being there. And then Baltimore kind of emerged as well. Obviously, AB works out with Lamar Jackson, has cousins on the team, obviously with Hollywood Brown as well. So the connection was naturally there. But I was a little bit surprised when we talked about this initially. Once they announced his suspension, you knew, okay, once the season hit those 8 weeks, he could not be around the team. So if you were going to bring him in, you would bring him in during training camp so he could have the full gamut to learn the scheme, learn the system, get familiar with the team, the coaching staff, and vice versa. But that wasn't the case. So now when Baltimore has an opportunity potentially to sign him in the next 2 weeks, they went Dez Bryant. Like I said, for me, that was a little bit surprising. I'm still waiting to see what Seattle is waiting on as well. I mean, if you want the guy, you feel like he can come in there and help your team out, why are you waiting for other teams to potentially get involved in this conversation? I mean, I just thought, like, if you want him and he's available, especially with the practice squad, the way it's set up too now, because with Dez in Baltimore, they're signing him to the practice squad initially to give him time to get up to speed, get acclimated, and then move him up to active.
I was going to say, there's no way they're planning on just keeping him on the practice squad.
But that's the beauty of 2020 because of the COVID situation. The NFL has allowed a separate practice squad of it can be anybody. It doesn't matter if they are only a first or second year player.
Usually, didn't you say it's a max level of years you're allowed to be on the practice squad?
Yeah,
Is that what it was?
So prior to this year, the rule was if you had more than 2 years NFL experience, not 2 full seasons, just playing 3 games in 2 seasons, because that's a credited season. If you had that, then you weren't eligible for practice squad. So that's why you would never hear about big name guys or veteran guys being on the practice squad. But with this year, because of COVID, they expanded it and have a separate practice squad solely for veterans or just anyone. So that's why you've seen, I mean, Dez was the big name of this week, but even before that, you had the backup quarterback in Philly. What's his name? McCown. Josh McCown. He's been on their practice squad the whole time. I mean, this dude he's literally old enough to be some of these players' dads, and he's on the practice squad, but that's the purpose of it. So with this type of season, you bring in Dez, have him on the practice squad for a week or 2, and then once he's ready to go, you bump him up. I'm anticipating maybe something similar with AB because of a year away from the game, and then obviously no offseason as well. You can see that scenario. That's just pretty much the status in terms of teams bringing in free agent players or veteran players as well, just to give them a little bit more time to get acclimated.
He couldn't do that in the next 2 weeks, though, right?
Well, so they could sign him today. He still would have to sit out and not be in the building until week 8.
Could he do practice?
No, he can't be in the building until week 8, until those 8 weeks are officially done. That was the whole purpose of saying he should have been signed during the training camp time, because he was allowed to be in practice training camp. He was allowed to be in the meetings, on the field. If they were going to play preseason games, he could have played in the games. He could have done everything that you would want him to be doing and learning during that time. Once the season hit, though, from week 1 to week 8, he cannot be around the building. He can't have communication with the coaching staff and players from an official standpoint. So that's why, like I said, it made 0 sense. If you really love this dude and really wanted him, it wasn't going to cost you anything either. When he was suspended, it was going to be suspended without pay. So you're not even paying this guy's salary. And during training camp, your training camp, the way it's the percentage of how they pay you from your contract, it was a glorified. It would probably be for him exactly. It would probably be around $5,000 total to pay him for training camp. You get $1,000 per week as a veteran player during training camp. Now, once the season starts, that's when you get the bigger, heftier checks and things like that. But during training camp, it's a set rate regardless of what your contract is. It's based off of how many years you've been in the NFL. So it made perfect sense to bring him in during that time. That's why, like I said, for me, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense that you wait this long to potentially sign him.
I agreed with you too. I think there was only benefit really to, I guess someone would make the argument maybe there'd be some talk with the media throughout the season or maybe before the season that people within the team didn't want to deal with. Maybe that's it, but I don't know.
I mean, but this is the thing.
I don't really care that much about that.
Right?
Yeah.
Once you sign him, the conversation is going to be had, and it's going to be a week-to-week thing, because like we've seen, he might be okay for a couple of good weeks, and then if something goes wrong in terms of adversity, whether it's not the targets he wants or the team's not winning, then you're going to have to see how he responds to that. So that was going to happen regardless. I feel like that element of it was inevitable.
It depends though. What if he doesn't do any of that? Where if you're just signing him, you're dealing with all this media attention and he's not even playing. But what if he comes in week 8, he balls out, and there's just really not a peep?
But no, this is what I'm saying. Regardless of if he was going to play and have success, not play, if he said anything or not said anything, the media was going to ask those questions regardless. The first question, as soon as he signed, even if he never has anything happen negative that he creates, the media is going to constantly ask the players and the team, how are you handling it? What is it like having
that? Might only be for like a week.
But that's the thing. I don't think it would be a week, because as we've seen we talked about how AB could go for multiple weeks at a time and be fine. And then something negative happens, and then it's like, oh, okay, you get a little outbreak here. You get a little something that he does negative. So that's why I said I think it's going to continue on, because we've seen it now in Oakland when he was out there. Initially, it looked great the first week, right? It looked great through training camp, even with him being in and out of training camp. And then towards the end of training camp, we saw it drastically shift. We saw, okay, the last season he was here in Pittsburgh, it on paper it appeared that everything was good, and then you dive in behind the scenes and you're like, oh no, it was very dysfunctional going on in that situation. Then even when he went to New England, first week he's there, he catches the touchdown, Dolphins game is good, everything is peaceful. Adversity happens, he's not able to play, then he goes out here and takes shots at Robert Kraft. So I don't think it would be just a solely 1 week and act like everything is fine, because his track record has said otherwise. And knowing how the media loves negativity anyways, you think they're going to miss an opportunity to constantly bring that up at the chance that if one thing goes wrong, now they could be like, hey, I told y'all, see?
Maybe it's just my naive mind that I'm thinking, it's going to just be good with AB. I think he's just going to be locked in and focused on football and nothing's going to happen. But you're right. Maybe the media will try to look for everything to make a story.
Think about February. Was it January, February? We had the situation with with the mother of his child, right? During that period, wasn't that supposed to be the be quiet AB, chill out AB, everything is going good AB? And then that happens, and then what was supposed to be again? Chill out AB, don't say anything AB, lay low, and then you get the moving truck situation that happened. So that's my only thing. It's like this is the longest we've seen him be quiet. He's like not doing anything on social media ever since probably since the start of the season. I think he had put one thing out and then he ends up deleting it. And then from there, we haven't heard anything else from him. So yeah, that's my only thing. It's like we don't have a large sample size of good AB. We have the other side that we see numerous examples of.
I'm just rooting for AB. I think that's what it is. I think we both are. But you bring up fair points. I'm hoping someone signs him. I hope he can play well and continue his career. That's what I'm hoping for.
No doubt.
It would be tough if it's the Ravens. It's not looking like the Ravens though. So hopefully NFC, just for the Steelers' sake. You know what I mean?
I'm with you. Trust me, I'm with you. For me, I'm over here like devil's advocate. Boy, I would love you, AB. Go to somebody in the division and just make them feel it. Make them feel it. Make them feel it. Because see, that's my problem. Like, I build these relationships with my guys because this is like, oh yeah, I want you to eat. Like, I want that. I want my team to win, but I want you to get off though.
I'll tell you what, podcast views would be up that week.
Oh God, it would. Without a doubt.
A lot of hype for that.
Without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. So it'd be interesting to see, though, how that whole thing plays out. For me, my biggest thing, and I've said this numerous times to you and on air, I just want him mentally good. Like I said, he's been quiet right now, so we really don't know where he's at from a mental standpoint. We just know he's not publicly putting it on social media like he was doing prior to that. I'm just hoping whatever ends up happening, if he gets signed, if he doesn't get signed, that mentally he's in a good space and he's able to just continue on living a productive life. That's my biggest thing with him, man.
Agreed. Yeah. We want to get into this game.
I'm ready for this game. I don't know about you. I'm ready for this 5-0 versus 5-0 5-star matchup, clash of the Titans. I cannot wait. And I know you're an offensive guy. So we'll start with the offense, man. In particular, we'll talk about the Titans offense, though, man. Steelers defense.
Titans offense versus Steelers defense. This is probably the most organized my notes have ever been here.
I see you got the glasses on.
I really wanted to read this. I really wanted to be able to read this.
Sophisticated today. See, we've seen sex symbol Deke numerous times. We don't get the sophisticated glasses Deke too often, though.
Not too often.
You just look elegant, man. I feel like I'm supposed to be in a library set. Instead of these being shoes around, there should be books around us. And like Harry Potter books or like some like super in-depth story long style chapter books, man.
Nah, my glasses are crooked. It's not the best look, so you don't gotta puff it up or anything because it ain't like that. It ain't like that.
It's a good look though. I like it.
Thanks. I gotta get them fixed. Maybe I'll get them fixed the next week or two.
We'll see what happens.
You know how I am. My intent is always there, but it probably won't happen. Let's be real.
The execution leaves you wanting a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so what'd you say? Steelers defense versus Titans offense?
Because we want to go offense first, but I know you're a big offensive guy, man, so yeah.
You want to start?
No, I figured I can go first. I was going to let you drop it first.
All right, key one.
Okay. Oh, I like this. God, dog. Deke taking charge. Key one. All right.
All caps in bold here.
Uh-huh.
Keeping Henry in check. This is probably the most obvious thing.
Yeah.
And I'll be straight up with you. I think we are going to do this. And I'm saying this humbly because I know Derrick Henry, he's probably the best running back in the league right now. Let's be real.
Okay.
You don't think?
I just said okay. You are big on crowning people. I'm not.
Who are you putting in?
I'm just saying, I'm not about to crown a guy like that. Like
Barkley's hurt. Zeke's not playing as well.
That's my question. Why does it always just have to be somebody though? Like why? That's what I don't understand. Why?
I'm saying right now, it might change next week.
Exactly. So how can he be the number one guy if it could change in a week?
He's number one right now, going into week 6. I mean, he just had over 200 yards last game.
Okay.
He's leading the league. I think he is over 500, something like that. So, yeah, we got to keep him in check. Let's be real. He's like the main key for their offense. He makes it go. Tannehill has been playing good. I'm going to give him my respects because he has been playing really well this year. He had a clutch drive at the end of the last game.
Not just last game. You watched that Vikings game.
Listen.
Woo, they were down 3 scores. And he got the cooking.
He's been doing good. So why I think we could keep him in check, though? I think we are going to keep him in check. That's the key, but I think we will accomplish it. If you look at his game logs, 3-7 against Denver in terms of yards per carry, 3-4 against Jaguars, 4-6 against Vikings, good game there, 3-0 against Bills, then obviously completely went off against the Texans.
But even in that Texans game, you have to remember 94 of those yards came on one run.
I was going to say that. I don't want to make that sound bad.
No, well, I was going to see if you were, because the same people, like for me, I don't have an issue with that because I say it with everyone.
He had a good game. He had a really good game last week.
The only reason I say like some people don't is because, in particular when it comes to Steelers, we've seen when we talked about early on in the season with James Conner, right? He had it was the long run where that's what got him over the 100. People don't like that conversation like that. They want to just...
We talked about that.
I know we did, but I'm just saying not everybody, you know what I mean? They want to make it bigger than what it is at times. For me, I'm like 94, that came on one run. That changes a lot, man.
But Henry having that run, that gets blown up in the media because he's done that a few times. That's like a vintage Henry run. Yeah. You always want to see it.
Even though we talked about the Texans' run defense.
I was going to bring that up.
We talked about it, and it showed in a big way on that particular run.
Terrible run defense.
Two guys. Zach Cunningham is unblocked by himself. He peeks backside for no reason, and then he just flat out whiffs. And then from there, you got the backside corner, I believe. Actually, it wasn't the corner. It was the backside safety, Justin Reed, Eric Reed's little brother. He's literally just takes a bad angle and gets outrun. I mean, it was that simple, man. But such is life, man.
So they're going to give him the ball a lot. I just think we're going to keep him in check. I don't know how many yards he's going to get. Will he maybe have 4 yards a carry? Is it going to be 30 attempts for 100 yards? Is it going to be maybe 25 attempts, maybe get 70 or 80? I just think we'll keep him in check. Our rush defense is too good. Everything they do kind of revolves around him in terms of the play action and just Tannehill being able to open up the offense because of Henry. So keeping him in check, that's kind of like my main key. I got another thing here, but I'll let you either play off that or give your second key, and then I'll...
Give my second key. I ain't even give a first key yet.
Oh, you don't have Henry on yours? You're not worried about Henry?
I ain't even give a first key.
You're not worried about Henry?
I was going to let you finish, man. I'll get to mine. You go ahead, man.
I'm good, dude. I'm talking too much. I'm good, man.
No, man. I like when you talk. You don't have any more?
I do.
Give it to us then, man. Come on, bro. Don't be acting all weird on the mic. Hey, go ahead. I'm going to get mine. Don't worry about me. I'm passing the ball early, man.
You're the expert. You're the expert.
We teammates, though. We work together in this thing.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned about their tight ends and receivers, actually.
Okay. I mean, they do got a good group. You look at A.J. Brown, Corey Davis coming back now as well. Janu Smith, he's questionable going into the game. I know he's dealing with the injury right now, but yeah, they got some guys, though. They definitely do, man.
I think they're kind of underrated, actually. They don't have the biggest names. A.J. Brown's definitely the best receiver they got. Yeah. Humphreys isn't bad in the slot. Corey Davis isn't bad either. And then Jonu Smith, he's a good tight end, 5 touchdowns on the year. Absolutely. And then this dude, what's his name? Ferguson? Finkster?
Oh, yeah. Anthony, right? Anthony's like Fishner? I don't know how you say it.
He had a good game last week. So if Jonu Smith isn't able to go, it seems like this guy could step up and match the production somewhat. So the reason that concerns me is because I think they are underrated. I think they could add some splash. Tannehill's been able to sling it around out there. And our secondary... Up until the Browns game, there was just some question marks. Now, I'm hoping the Browns game is where we really turn the corner and we're going to see more of that. But just in terms of a consistent basis, it's a little bit of a question mark. Yeah. That's all. So in terms of their tight ends, receivers, I do think they're underrated. I think they could kind of be sneaky. And the Browns last week, remember I was saying, we're going to step up to the occasion. We're going up against Odell, Jarvis.
Right.
Hype with the matchup being the Browns.
Oh, you said they're going to play down to... Ooh.
No, I'm not saying they're playing down. It's just one of those things. Our secondary's been a little inconsistent. And then we saw with the Texans. What were we saying? We were like, their weapons, they're there, but...
They're good, but they're not great. They don't scare you.
I actually think, are they better than the Texans? I like A.J. Brown.
I would say it's debatable.
I like A.J. Brown over any of their receivers.
I feel like the Texans have the name recognition when you throw in a guy like Randall Cobb, but in terms of right now...
Even Cooks and Will Fuller, those are name recognition.
But when it comes to right now, they're not playing better than A.J. Brown has been playing. I mean, over a 2-year sample size, A.J. Brown is a really good young receiver.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm concerned about. That's about it. I think we're going to keep Henry in check. obviously that's like the main key. Let's just focus on him. We can't let him go off or things.
Right.
It's going to be trouble for us on defense. And then after that, dude, honestly, what's hilarious about me saying this, it's like, yo, stop the run, stop the pass game. It just sounds so simple and dumb. It's like, is it not? Isn't that what a defense is supposed to do?
But you got to be, you get more specific though. It's all good, man. It is all good. Because some teams you don't have to worry about the run game. We talked about that. Some teams, they don't threaten you the same from a passing standpoint. So it's all good, man.
I guess that's what anyone's saying these days, right? Stop the run, stop the pass. Steelers offense, let's run it and pass it a little good.
It's all about like how or why or this. So are you done with your keys? Or you good?
I'm good.
All right.
Those are my concerns.
So for me, man, when I look at the Titans on offense, I think the biggest thing that is going to determine the outcome of the game is how we stop the pass, man. It's all about stopping the pass against the Titans, man. We know they want to throw the ball 40 times a game. Like,
man, come on. Hey, you're not wrong. They threw it 40 times last week. Like, that's the weird thing.
It's sneaky, though. It's weird how they do it, though.
It's weird. It's weird because they can do that if they need to. They can do that.
But in all seriousness, man, it starts up front. I'm not worried about Derrick Henry in terms of Henry himself. What I'm worried about, and I think in terms of why you feel the Steelers will be fine against the Titans in the run game, the reason being is this, man. When you look at the 3 interior D linemen that the Steelers are going to roll out with Tyson Alualu, Cam Hayward, and Stephon Tuitt, they're going to be matched up against, let's see who this is, Ben Jones, Nate Davis, and Roger Saffold III. I don't think that the Titans interior offensive linemen can hold up for 4 quarters against these Steelers interior D linemen. I think that when you watch what Cam, Tyson, and Tuitt have been able to do on tape through these first 5 games, they have dominated the interior line of scrimmage as it pertains to the run game. And that's why teams haven't had a lot of success. Even last week when Devin Bush went out, Spillane, even though people were still questioning, okay, can he get downhill and play like that? It was sometimes where he might have been just a second late on a read, but because Cam Hayward was dominating his guy, it didn't matter. And that's what you're seeing constantly. I mean, even when we broke down some of the tape on Vince Williams, we saw, even when you're talking about a tackle for loss by Vince, it's like, man, Tyson Alualu is killing this guy, and that's why he has to cut back to where Vince is at. To me, that's the biggest part of this matchup. That to me, that's just gonna stop them from being able to run, because we know with Henry, he's kind of like a warship, right? If he's going straight, he's a problem, but he's not lateral. He doesn't have start and stop. He doesn't give you that. And with Derrick Henry, man, if he can get the ball and go downhill, that's where he's his best. When he has to stop his feet and have to redirect and start and stop over and over again, he's nowhere near that type of back, nowhere near the same caliber back. But it starts up front. Those guys, the Titans have done a great job of controlling the line of scrimmage. I don't think that they're going to be able to do that against these 3 interior D linemen. That to me is the biggest part for my first key.
You think their like ranking then is a little bit of a facade?
No, I didn't say that. Their line is really good.
I was going to say they have them ranked as like the first offensive line in the league.
Like, this is what you don't realize. Like, they dominate the line of scrimmage. It's not a debate. When the Titans are on the field, they are just road grading teams off the ball. They are legit. They're good as advertised. I just think that our guys are better.
It's kind of like the Browns then. You know, their strength is the run, but they haven't faced us yet.
Right. It's not a knock on them. And by saying, are they overrated? Not at all. I just think that our D-line is that good. It's kind of like the Cam Hayward versus Quentin Nelson conversation. When Cam dominated Quentin, or not dominated, but when he had some really good plays against Quentin, it was, oh man, maybe Quentin isn't as good as advertised. No, Quentin is the best guard in the NFL right now. And that's no disrespect to anybody out there, but Quentin is that. He's like that. But the thing is, Cam Hayward is a top-notch all-pro for a reason. There's a reason he's that good, and he shows that. So it's not a knock on the Titans as a whole. Obviously, the Titans lost a key player in Taylor Lewan, their all-world left tackle. He goes out with an ACL. That kills you. But they still have a really, really good unit. I just think that the way our D-line is, and now that they're fully healthy playing together, they are a nightmare for teams. And to do it for 4 quarters, I just don't think the Titans offensive line can do that. And that's why I'm not as concerned about Derrick Henry as I feel like from a national standpoint, people are.
Well, dude, yeah, he's coming off that crazy game. And I pointed to those stats. Mm-hmm. Denver kept him in check, 3.7 yards per carry. Jaguars 3.4. Vikings at a 4.6. Still a good game. Bills at a 3.0.
I do like how
what
you pull up yards per game as your thing, and not was he over the 100-yard mark in these games?
Well, that's
because he is over the 100. Like, that's the thing. It's like, that's why I always get on you when we talk stats. I'm like, bro, we could pick and choose which stat. Because right now, I mean, I think for the season, his average is right at around what I want to say it was at 4.8 one time I saw.
Oh, man, dude. Well, that 9.6 last week really messed it up. I don't know where it's at.
But to me, I'm just like, he's not on a per basis. He's not doing it like that. It's more so about a war of attrition. He's getting the ball. I mean, the least amount of touches he had was the blowout against the Bills, and that was because the game got out of hand due to turnovers. He ended up with 15 carries. Man, but other than that, he's averaging 25, 27, 31, just runs, not screen passes, just runs. That is a lot. The Steelers, this is my biggest thing with them. We haven't faced a team that's as committed to the run as the Titans. The Browns last week, they abandoned the run 2 series in the game. Once Baker threw that pick 6 and we scored again on offense and they went down 2 scores, they weren't trying to run the ball. And from there, we know that's not what they do in terms of having to drop back and throw the ball. So the game went as we would expect. The Titans, they aren't going to abandon their running game. Even when they were down, like I said, big to the Vikings, they still stuck with the run. And then from there, they were able to hit some throws downfield. But that's going to be the biggest test, man, in terms of when a team fully commits to running the ball. Can they do it for 4 quarters? I personally, like I said, don't think their offensive line is going to allow them to, because I think our D-line for 4 quarters is just going to be better than those guys. So that's why that's my first key, man, in terms of just that matchup.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. What's your second then? You got a third? You even got a third?
Oh, absolutely. My computer had went to sleep. But yeah, man, the second thing, man, on offense, it pertains to the offensive line again with Taylor Lewan going out, right? We know he's their all-world franchise left tackle, and it was crazy to see him go out the way he did. But the guy that backs him up, man, that came into the game is Tyson Braylo. I had to make sure I wrote it down so I didn't want to butcher his name without looking at it. Tyson Braylo. And when he came in the game, literally his first snap was a sack he gave up to J.J. Watt. And when you saw him throughout the game, he wasn't as good in pass protection. Now, and when I say as good, we know he's never going to be Taylor Lewan. But what I'm saying is, in terms of how you rank him run game versus pass blocking, he was a lot better in the run blocking department than he was in the pass blocking situation. And I just think that that's a matchup where Bud Dupree, we've seen multiple times now against top left tackles, against high draft pick. We saw him just last week against Wills, and what he was able to do against him in terms of creating splash, having sacks, and just being an impact player. That is going to be a big time matchup for them. I think Bud dominates that, though, because number one, we know what they like to do. They want to run the ball, and they like to throw off of either play action pass or even run actions, right? Even if it's not a traditional play action pass, just the threat of a run, that's how they like to throw downfield. But all that is smoke and mirrors, because the routes downfield are longer developing, and typically you need some type of play action or some type of misdirection to give your offensive line a little bit of a boost, a little bit to help them. Now with no Taylor Lewan, now you got this backup in there. You're not going to have that same luxury of, oh, play action pass. At least I know my blind side is taken care of. And we know also we're seeing this. I mean, even last week we saw it emerge a lot. Everybody knows dog rush 1. The Steelers run it. That was their defense with Lamar Woodley and James Harrison when they were both getting double-digit sacks. They run it a lot. And it's perfect for play action teams. Teams that want to show you run but then drop back. You have your outside guys still rushing. And now they're getting one-on-ones versus backs, tight ends, or in this case, it'll be this left tackle. I just don't think that Ty is going to be able to hold up for 4 quarters either against Bud. And I see splash plays written all over that for Bud in that department. And then the last thing for me, man, as it pertains to this to the Titans offense, it's their wide receivers, A.J. Brown, Corey Davis versus our DBs. And more so, our DBs have to communicate. When our DBs have communicated and been on the same page, they've looked nice. They've looked really, really good at times. Also, we saw them last week correct the issues that they had the previous week in terms of not getting physical with receivers and allowing free releases. They changed that up. If they continue to do that and communicate, I don't see this being an issue. But if they have the miscommunications that have plagued them for the majority of the early portion of the season, these Titans, they will definitely take advantage of that, because that's how they generate their passing attack, play action pass, and making teams either making those safeties and corners be disciplined with their eyes. When teams play action pass and your corners and your safeties are getting too antsy looking into the run, which is easy when you got a guy like Derrick Henry having success, that's how those receivers get behind them. That's how those receivers are able to get those bigger plays. And Tannehill, the difference between him and Baker is this. Tannehill is a lot more accurate of a passer downfield than Baker is.
And he's got an arm. He's just got a better arm. He definitely
does. Like, I mean, he's a first-round draft pick for a reason. People sleep on him because of the whole Adam Gase Miami situation. Tannehill he has the intangibles. He can throw it. He's accurate downfield, and people forget he can run too, man. People don't look at him as a runner. He's very Josh Allen-like in terms of how he can scramble and run. People forget he was a college wide receiver. He is a great athlete. That's the thing with him, and he just doesn't get the respect in that department because of the Miami situation. He threw for 4,000 yards twice in Miami with all the dysfunction. So that's why it's like he is a good quarterback, and that's the reason why they paid him. But he specializes in the play action down the field passes. So that's why it's going to be critical that they're disciplined in communicating on the back end.
It's even making me eat my words here.
Man, everyone does that. It's all good. We ain't tripping on you no more. That's why when you said, I'm like, bro, you realize he's thrown for over 4,000 yards twice in his career. Twice.
I guess we didn't realize how bad Gase was.
No. Y'all didn't realize that. I thought, man, listen, playing in the division in AFC East with Gase twice a year, you're like, bro, this is dysfunction right here. Then seeing with him go to the Jets and how everything played out, it's like, man, you don't have multiple star players winning out if your coach is competent. You don't hear reports of, oh man, we feel like our coach isn't prepared. Kind of what you're hearing in Dallas right now. You don't hear that if your coach is competent, if your coach is a true leader, if your coach knows what he is doing. Right now, Adam Gase's whole career is solely based off of Peyton Manning. It's kind of like the Sean McVay thing of you were in the vicinity of Sean McVay, people view you as an offensive guru because he was on the staff with Peyton Manning. Oh man, he knows what he's doing, man. This the guy right here. No, it's not the case. It is not. Just because you know him doesn't mean you know him. Doesn't mean you're as good. Doesn't mean you know how to articulate that, man. Like, let's be real about it. And that's what we're seeing right now with Gase. And that's why I think Tannehill has been a lot better in Tennessee because, number one, Vrabel is a way better coach. But number two, they are making sure that they put him in the best situations offensively. And he's thriving in that scenario. I mean, I think since he's been there, they're 14-4, I think, or something. It's something crazy since he's taken over in Tennessee. Absolutely. So that's a pretty large sample size. The track record is there. The proof is there. So they are a good team. They're 5-0 for a reason. You don't stumble into 5-0, man.
Let's wait and see. I'm just messing.
Hey, man.
I'm giving him his due. I'm giving him his due. Is 2020 the year of Deke giving players their due?
Never. Because even when you give your due, you always give us a smart, a little shot, some type of, you always got something, man.
Nah, Tannehill's playing good.
No, you already threw it out there. You already threw it away. You see out there. It's all good, man.
Playoffs. Let's wait and see. That's all.
He went to the whole AFC Championship game last year, but we're waiting to see him for them. It's cool.
I don't want to say anything bad. He's playing really good. What did I put Josh Allen in my top 10 about 2 weeks ago? Didn't I?
I don't even remember, man. Like I said, your ratings they shift so frequently, man.
Tannehill's probably in that mix. Tannehill's probably in that mix right now. He probably
because I could have sworn you told me that Tannehill was like Kirk Cousins in like the 15 to 20 range.
Yeah, I might have been wrong there. I think I said he was locked in at like 15 or lower. He can't move up. Bro. He's making me eat my words. He's playing good. Maybe I just didn't realize it because the Miami thing. Uh-huh. You know how I don't like that in between. Like they were 8-8, 9-6, whatever. They made the playoffs, and like I hate that stuff. I'd rather you be really good or not. They're 5-0. He's playing good, so I got to give him his due. All right. Did you have anything else for the offense? For me, that was all I had for the Titans. Well, I guess I mentioned briefly just their offensive weapons. I guess you could say tight end whenever I brought up Smith and Finks or whatever, just because they're going to be facing off against Spillane, whoever the hell else we're going to be putting out there at middle linebacker. So that'll be an interesting matchup. That's kind of like a wait and see because is Smith going to be playing or not? Right. I don't know how the Steelers are exactly going to be addressing this, so it's probably going to be more of a reaction to what the Steelers do here and how Spillane does. I will say this, man, going back and watching Spillane again in the second half of that Browns game, he did some really good things from a coverage standpoint, man. I was going to say, he didn't seem like slow or anything. He seemed kind of fast. He was decent speed. The thing is this, though. I will say this as it pertains to the speed. Technically, I mean, when it comes to what he ran from a 40 standpoint, I think it was high 4.7. He's not the fastest of people. But the reason why he appeared faster in game was because, number one, he knew what he was doing. You look at the two plays that stood out to me the most where you could really see him flash. The Kareem Hunt tackle that he had on 3rd and 5. Even though Kareem Hunt got the first down, it was an 8-man drop. He's the middle dropper in the 8-man. He's probably 10, 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. His close, though, because as soon as the ball went out there on that screen, he said, foot in the ground, go. And literally he did that and ultimately stood him up. It was a beautiful open field tackle, beautiful decisiveness in terms of running, beating the offensive lineman. Chris Hubbard was the one
coming up to pull up and block him at the time. Great job in there. And then the other was the other screen pass to Austin Hooper that he had the tackle for loss on. Literally, once again, he's dropping. He's doing his man-to-man coverage. Eyes where they're supposed to be. Soon as he see Austin Hooper turn around for the ball, he decides and he goes. And that's what makes him play fast. That's what makes him play faster than he technically timed. So as long as he can continue to be decisive, he'll be okay. But the thing is, you're not just coming in now with you got the cheat code on them. They don't know about you. The Titans done had a whole week now to scout you up, scheme you up as well, and figure out how to exploit you. So
he had the cheat code last week. That's hilarious.
It's the truth. I mean, in terms of I got the answers to your test, you don't have the answers to my test. That's a cheat code. I mean, let's be real about it. Hey, Deke, you preparing to fight me. But I got my little brother who's been watching for you the whole time. You know what I mean?
That's not gonna matter. You'd smoke me, dude.
No. Just you know what I'm saying, man. You know what I mean? So I sub out my guy right here has been studying you the whole time. You have zero clue about this guy. He still knows, man. You like to dip your head a little bit to the right every time you jab. So he's waiting on that every time. You're trying to figure him out on the go. That was a scenario last week, man. I think this week could be a little bit different because, like I said, the Titans, they're going to do different things to kind of highlight him and highlight just the linebacking core in general in terms of those two inside guys right now.
Yeah, that works. That's good with me for our defense versus their offense. Ready to transition to
absolutely, man.
Steelers offense versus
all right, let me
defense.
Hear it. Ben throws for 700 yards, 10 touchdowns, a walk-off, but it's a blowout too. Player of the week. I got you, bro. What you got?
Nah, their defense just isn't that good all around.
Mm-hmm.
They have the worst. I'm kind of liking this yards per carry stat today.
I see. Anything to fit your narrative, baby. Let's ride.
They have the worst. They have the worst yards per carry versus opposing running backs on the season. Dalvin Cook gashed them. James Robinson gashed them. Melvin Gordon had a pretty decent game. But then whenever you look at their, their pass defense, they've been getting gashed as well. And you know what? They haven't even been playing that good of quarterbacks here. They've played Minshew. They've played Kirk Cousins.
Wait a minute. Weren't you the one hyping up Minshew earlier? Now he's not a good quarterback? You are funny.
He's not better than top 20. Wait, when have I ranked him? When have I said he's at a certain spot?
First off, we already know your QB rank because we throw him out. Okay, we already know that. But you've definitely talked very positive about Gardner Minshew. It took a whole year of pulling teeth to get you to say positive things about Josh Allen and Tannehill. That was never the case with Minshew. You've never not once come up here and said anything negative about Gardner Minshew. I don't know if it's because you don't view him as...
There's no expectations for him.
All I'm saying is, but now I'm saying he's a bad quarterback. You said they haven't faced a good quarterback. Stop. Don't do that now.
Top 20 maybe.
Jeez.
Top 20. Kirk Cousins, Minshew, Drew Lock.
Uh-huh.
Got gashed by Cousins and Minshew. Josh Allen had a bad game.
And we already said Cousins can get hot. He's streaky at times. We said that. And even with Drew Lock, we said Drew Lock is a young quarterback. People are kind of trying to see it, or it was last year a fluke, or is he really a good quarterback? Do you ever really named like a bad quarterback just yet, man?
Well, I think in general, the quarterback play is up in the NFL, just in general across the board. But anyway, they still, last 4 games, 30, 16 against the Bills. That was a bad Bills game by Josh Allen and all that, 36 versus the Texans. So 3 30-point games in there. I just think for our offense versus their defense, it's going to be pick your poison. All right, you want to stop the run? All right, Ben's going to throw it out to Claypool. All right, you want to double team Claypool? All right, Ben's still going to throw it to Claypool. He's going to pump fake the first guy, and Claypool's going to get open.
Okay.
All right, we'll do that. All right, now you want to triple team Claypool? Now Ben's going to go to James Washington, and he's going to hit Deontay Johnson, if he's healthy, Juju maybe.
Okay.
All right, you just want to stop the passing game? We'll hand it off to Connor. He's going to get another 100-yard game. So that's what it is. It's just pick your poison. It's pick your poison, dude. Their defense isn't that good. It's just not that good. Like I said, they've played not the best quarterbacks, and they've let up a lot of yards. Now you're facing a legend, so now you got to deal with that. That's how I feel about our offense versus their defense. It's just keep doing what we're doing. I don't have anything special.
Now you're facing a legend, so take that. I love you. I love it. This is awesome.
Do you like my triple team Claypool thing in there?
I did. I was like, all right, the next is
because you thought I was
quadruple team. I'm like, yo, what we going with next? Like,
you thought I was serious about the double team. You were like, all right, are they going to double team? And then I threw the triple team.
You are funny, man.
Dude, that's about it, man. I mean, I don't think their defense is that good. Their track record has showed it this year, and I think our offense is clicking right now. So we just keep doing what we're doing. We're balanced offense. I listened to Ben's interview, actually, and he said that. He was like, I think he listened to our podcast first and was like, I think Deke has a point. We do have a balanced offense here. We could just kind of do whatever we want. It's either we run the ball, we pass the ball, we're playing to win. So we just keep doing what we're doing. That's all.
I like
Their
it.
defense isn't that good.
But still MVP front runner though, right?
Dude, he is. There's nothing. There's no reason. There's no reason to knock him down, dude. 11 touchdowns and a pick. I know. There's some narratives out there, but I don't want to deal with it. We're just winning games. There's been a lot of hype, actually even preseason hype by some quarterbacks that are trying to like fluff themselves up, throwing out slogans about being in the kitchen and cooking.
He can't. Don't let him cook.
What?
Don't let him cook.
Well, it's just not right. I don't think you're supposed to do that. You're not.
He is cooking though. Is he cooking?
You're not supposed to make slogans for yourself and kind of say like, I want to do this or that.
But is he cooking?
He's playing good. He's playing good.
He's playing good. Just good.
He's playing good. Dude.
He's not cooking.
Listen, let me put it this way. Ben could have had like 4 touchdowns last week if he wanted to.
Okay.
We ran the ball in. So that's not going to go on Ben's stats per se. The offense is moving. We're winning games.
And you know what the rebuttal to that is, right?
I want to hear it. Go ahead.
Ben could have had 2 picks last week as well, and that didn't go on his stats either. We saw 2 balls hit defenders dead in the chest. Don't act like you didn't see it.
I think
it was
definitely
definitely 2. We're not going. We can go into the exact plays.
We could do that with other quarterbacks around the league too.
I'm just saying you can't give out a positive hypothetical for touchdowns and not a hypothetical for interceptions as well. You said hypothetically you could have thrown 4 touchdowns last week. It's like, well, hypothetically you could have thrown for 2 picks last week too. They could have.
Like I said, you could do that with anyone.
Exactly. So that's why we don't do hypotheticals for that reason right there. You see it? You see how easy that was?
My point is I'm more concerned about the winning games and controlling the offense and just playing winning football. That's what I'm concerned about. And Ben's doing that, so I don't see a reason.
I'm just saying the chef on the West Coast is doing that as well.
He's playing good. He's playing good.
Good.
He's playing good, dude.
They are on 5-0 without him. He's playing great.
I'd say the same thing about Ben.
It's debatable. Some people will say Claypool's his impact has been crazy.
No way, dude.
I'm just saying, man.
No way.
Could Kirk Cousins come on our team and we'd be 5-0 right now?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
No. And I'd agree with Seattle and Russell Wilson. I'd agree with that as well. They're both up there. There's nothing to knock Ben off though right now. 11 touchdowns a pick. We're 5-0.
How many touchdowns Russ have right now?
I don't know. That's what I said. That was my point. That's why I brought up the whole we're running the ball in. Ben could have had 4 touchdowns last week. Russ throws a lot in the red zone. I'm telling you.
How many interceptions does Russ have? That's what I'm trying to figure out. You know, it's hard. It's actually harder to throw in the red zone because the field's so condensed.
What has he got? 1 or 2? I don't know.
You tell me, man.
I really don't know.
Man.
I'm not focused on the West Coast.
You got a computer right there.
I'm good.
It's a simple typing.
I'm not typing it in.
You sure? Because I can ask like Siri, hey, all right, we ain't gonna do it.
I'm good. 5-0 over here.
All right. I just love how it's.
I told you, there's nothing to knock him off yet.
See, Siri was ready to roll, man.
I'm good. You could.
It's all good, man. I'm messing with you, man.
You can see what she's got to say if you want.
No, it's all good. And for me, Siri's a dude. He has a British accent.
Really?
I don't want chick Siri.
All right.
I only take answers from one chick.
There's been nothing to knock Ben off, dude. That's all. I'm staying consistent with this. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm loyal to a fault, but I'm going down with Ben.
I was going to ask, too, what does knock him off anyways?
Huh?
What would knock him off, just for your standards?
I don't know. I really don't know. I just got to see how the season plays out here.
No, I'm just saying like on a week to week, because you was like, you haven't seen anything to this point to knock him down. I was like, what does that even look like? Is it turnovers? Is it a yard amount per game? Like, what is it?
I think you're asking too many questions at this point. I think you're asking too many questions.
So technically there is no criteria to knock him down is what you're telling me. All right, that's all I want. I just need to hear that. That's it. We're good. It's all good.
Perhaps an injury. Maybe that's
that's about it. It has to be season ending too. Season ending. That's the only way. And it's still debatable.
He's playing good so far, dude.
I ain't messing with
We're not 5-0 without Ben. He's been a big difference maker here. Obviously, from last year to this year, he's been valuable. So that's what I'm saying.
No doubt. Did you have anything else on offense, man?
I told you. No, we're good. Right. We're gonna keep rolling.
No doubt, man. For me, I think it's
dude, you're funny, man.
For me, man, when I look at the Titans on defense, they have been giving up a lot. And it's weird because personnel-wise, they have really good guys at each level, but they're not disciplined, which is a surprise to me when you think of Mike Vrabel and obviously the Belichick lineage. You would think they would be a lot more of a disciplined team. Offensively, they are very disciplined. Defensively, though, they get caught peaking from a secondary standpoint. They were up 2 scores on the Texans, and they allowed 2 scores they allowed 2 just blown coverage touchdowns by the Texans. Each game this season, they've allowed blown coverage. It's very similar to what we were talking about with the Steelers earlier on in the year from a secondary standpoint. Difference is throughout the game, the Steelers are a lot more consistent, which is why their yards per pass attempt and yards allowed per game are a lot better. With the Titans, they haven't been able to be consistent, and they're having mental lapses, which is a recipe for disaster in that department. Not saying that they can't fix that, because when you go down the list of some of the guys on their team, I mean, Kevin Byard is an all-pro for a reason. He's a top-notch safety in this league. Kenny Vaccaro has had a ton of success in this league. You talk about that safety tandem. They're really good together. Malcolm Butler, he's not the same player. Jonathan Joseph isn't the same. They're trying to get Adoree Jackson back, but obviously he's been dealing with some injuries, so that's affected them. But when you look at their front guys, Jeffrey Simmons, another guy, former first-round pick, very talented in the interior. Then on the edge, Harold Landry and Jadeveon Clowney. Harold Landry has been a lot more productive. Clowney, he has the name, but he hasn't produced to that level this year. Now, who knows when that will start, because we know once he does get going, how effective he can be. But that's, to me, was the most surprising part, because you're not just looking at them and saying, well, our guys are just drastically better than their guys, because that's not necessarily the case at all three phases of it. Now, we do have some matchups that definitely favor us a lot more, but it's not like how he's been in typical weeks where our offense is just flat out just too talented for this team. I just think with them, man, they're just not disciplined enough to hang with us. And I think that's going to be the biggest difference in this matchup. If they were more disciplined, I think it's a different case, but you're not going to have multiple blown coverages and think that that's going to work against a team that you're already going to have your hands full with if everybody's playing their best anyways. So to me, that's the biggest advantage for the Steelers on offense. And then also, man, when I look at, like I said, their guys up front, man, they're just inconsistent. With Clowney, man, he still takes plays off, but at least in the past, he would make a big play and then take a couple plays off. Right now, he's not providing that type of splash. And I just think, man, between watching him jump in and out of gaps on rundowns is killing them. And then, like I said, from a passing standpoint, they're not consistently generating pass rush. I think Harold Landry is going to be good in the years to come, but right now he's not to that level just yet. And a similar thought process with Jeffrey Simmons as well. I think those guys can be good, and if they flash and make a play, I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't think consistently throughout 4 quarters they'll be able to do that.
All right, dude. I think we're kind of on the same page. I mean, you brought up the point, though, that they do have good players, which I agree with, I was kind of just surprised with how they've been playing thus far this season on defense. That's the thing. They're just super inconsistent. And it's not just stats either. If you're watching the game, they're getting gashed.
Yeah, last year, pretty much identical group. You just sub out Clowney, and that was about it. But other than that, they returned everybody. Obviously, Adoree Jackson was healthy. But this year, it's just, I don't know if it's communication, pre-snap, post-snap. Some of it is effort related. It's a lot of dysfunction. Like I said, I'm very surprised because up until this year, Vrabel has had that defense playing extremely well. That's what we keep them in the games. We talked about during the AFC Championship run. It was defense and running the ball. That's what kept them alive and made them so tough to beat, because we said once they got a lead and they can control the clock, you're not gashing them. It's going to take a Patrick Mahomes type player to really, create some problems for them defensively. But this year, we're just seeing them start off extremely slow. Hopefully it continues. I don't want this to be the game where, kind of like with us versus Cleveland, where, the light clicks and we're all on the same page. I don't want that. But that's just what they are right now. They're not a consistent bunch, and I think that's going to be the biggest X factor for them. I think when we talk about key matchup standpoint, obviously I love our receivers versus their corners, because, like I said, with Jonathan Joseph and Malcolm Butler, I just don't think that they can match up with any of these guys, especially Claypool or James Washington. I think the big speed guys hurt them a lot. And then from there, if Deontay Johnson comes out there, it just adds to the element of, and that's what we talked about, why this Steelers team is so difficult right now, because the weapons they have. They did not have this last year. Last year, remember, Juju wasn't producing. He was kind of in and out of the lineup being hurt. James Washington and Deontay Johnson were still young coming into their own. Now they're a lot better, which is why I said if you were to put a Kirk Cousins or maybe a different quarterback in, I think is different because of how talented they are now. Whereas last year that wasn't the case. We just didn't have the weapons like that last year.
Whereas I'm going to say it's Ben. Ben's the difference maker.
All right, I figured you would say that.
I think Deontay and James Washington. James Washington, what do you have? Over like 700 yards. Deontay had like around 500-600.
Yeah.
I think they would have been close to 1,000 with Ben. I think they would have had really good.
Okay.
Deontay would have been a rookie year for him.
Mm-hmm.
James Washington's second year.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would have been fine with Ben, dude. I think Ben's the difference maker. I know. Well, we obviously brought in Claypool. Mm-hmm. We brought in Ebron, but I just don't think it's the same. If you just
healthy James Conner, healthy offensive line, it's a lot that's gone into it. I know Ben gets the credit because he's the quarterback, and he does deserve a ton of credit because he does do a lot. But I know for you, it's that's why I'm always, when we had this conversation, I don't really go into it because I know you're only going to see it as that's the benefit. And 1,000% that's it. I'm just saying it's a lot more from an offensive standpoint going on this year that is helping them out than just Ben. Last year, it would have been traditional, hey man, this has been making everything happen. This year, man, they have a lot more talent and a lot more guys actually living up to their potential. Last year, we talked about the guys. We said, man, this guy's supposed to be the number one guy.
That's
this
the
guy's
thing,
supposed
though,
to be good. They didn't
not living up to the potential. Why is that? They don't have the quarterback.
We said no. We said last year what Juju was struggling with injuries. That was the big thing that everybody kept bringing up. Struggle with injuries. Then
even when he was healthy, though, there was some
I agree about that. And then we said with James Washington, could he develop? And that was the big knock on him. How long was it going to take for him to get up to speed? It was a lot going on. James Conner still wasn't producing. He was in and out of the lineup, playing in games when he wasn't healthy. That's all I'm saying, man. Whereas this year, you're not having to deal with all that. It's a lot better of a situation. That's all I'm saying.
All right, I'll hear you out. But you know how I feel.
That's why I said I'm not having this conversation with you. When it comes to quarterbacks, I don't talk to you about quarterbacks because I know it's an empty room with just 7 in a shrine with everything built up. Oh, this is 7's cleats. This is 7's dirty socks. This is 7's sneakers. No, his shoestrings that he wore in his first Pop Warner game. I lay next to him every night, next to my bed. I kiss him goodnight and say, thank you, 7. I know this when it comes to you and quarterbacks, man. So that's why I'm like, I ain't doing that. We good, baby. We good.
It ain't like that.
It is like that.
It ain't
it's
like
good,
that.
Man. It is.
Dude, I actually had, you said who's your X Factor? What'd you say?
I didn't say
our receivers versus
no.
our
I just said if we had to highlight a matchup, I don't really have a matchup in that regard.
Come on, you know you want to give the X Factor?
Go ahead, man. What you got?
You don't want to give one?
No. Go ahead, man. What you got?
You sure?
Go ahead. Eron.
The obvious no. The obvious one is Bud Dupree versus their left tackle. Kind of like
I thought you meant in like just in general. I already talked. Yeah, all right, I'm good. Yeah.
No. Here's the big X Factor though. Here's the big one actually. Boswell versus Gloskowski.
Okay.
Dude, Gloskowski basically almost blew him the week 1 game.
Okay.
Monday Night Football against the Broncos. They actually should have won that game a little more handily than they did. Last week, blocked kick, another missed kick. I think I can't remember if it was an extra point or a field goal.
No, he missed a field goal. It was on the left hash. The block kick, that was just the bad protection, man. It was like the right tight end tackle gap area. I don't know what the dude was looking at, man.
Boz has been money this year, so watch out for the kicker matchup. Gloskowski versus Boswell. Who wins the kicker matchup could win the game.
So I had a question. Is a block kick a knock on the kicker or a knock on the protection?
It's more protection. You want to say special teams? You want to say just the kicking game? It's like, no. It's kind of like the offense. If you're talking about a certain offense, you're going to lean quarterback. Whenever you talk about the quarterback, you're talking about the whole offense. Kind of like the kicker's the leader of that special teams unit, kind of.
I don't like those type of people anyways. That's why I don't like quarterbacks.
What do you mean?
Because they get all the attention for no reason.
Yeah, they get a lot of blame too. It's a tough task.
No, they don't. You
don't think?
We are quick to point at the receiver. We're quick to point at the protection. I mean, even with Baker, it took a while for Baker to really start getting the blame. It was, man, he don't have the weapons. Then it was they're not protected. Then it was always the coaching staff.
What about Jimmy G, 49ers? Like, I think he gets blamed for that Super Bowl loss, missing that throw.
It's still not the same, bro.
You don't think?
It's still not the same.
Either way, Gloskowski versus Boswell. Could Gloskowski go 1 for 2? Maybe he misses a key field goal. We get the ball. We score after that. Boswell goes 2 for 2. That could be the difference. Watch out.
I mean, according to your score prediction of 27-13, which I already know it's going to be, right? It's going to come down to no kicks anyway. So
it may not, but what if that's in the third quarter? What if it's a momentum swinging thing and we end up winning by double digits because of a missed field goal? Maybe we get a block here or there. Maybe Gloskowski, it's not the protection. He just kicks it too low and it counts as a block. Right. Boz has been hot, dude. Boz has been hot. He might be the best kicker in the game. You know, I had to throw that out there.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Butker's been missing some, dude.
Yeah.
He's been missing some. Boz has been steady. I don't know what Tucker's been doing over the Ravens. I'm sure he's been fine.
Oh, man.
X Factor matchup right there.
I like it.
Boz versus Gloskowski.
I like it. It's good to see you come back to your kicking roots, too, man. It was good. I know you started out giving us a highlighted kicker match, and then it kind of like disappeared for a couple weeks. It's good that that's returned. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, because here's what happened. Because I woke up the next day and was going to do my recap, I think it was. And I was like, all right, I'm really not going to analyze all these kicks and say this one was a draw, this one was a fade. I really like what's going on here. Expect this, that. I just couldn't see myself doing that. So I stopped. I'm bad with that, dude. Like you said at the beginning of the podcast, full circle, bad with execution sometimes. I'm the ideas. I throw ideas out. I do execute on some, but sometimes I'm just like,
Right. It happens, man. So if we're giving out key matchups or X factor matchups, I guess my one X factor matchup would be our offensive tackles, Chooks and Al. Just ultimately, man, minimizing and continuing to do what they're doing versus Jadeveon Clowney and Harold Landry. We know that those two guys, like I said, more so Clowney from a name standpoint, presents some challenges, but they haven't produced consistently in that regard. Keep Ben clean, keep 7 upright, keep the running game going. It shouldn't be an issue. But what could be an issue is if you allow one of those guys to have one of them impact sacks, strip sack type of situations where they can create a turnover. We don't need that. So if I had to highlight a X factor matchup or one of those type of things, I would go with those guys right there, man, because they've been playing well these past couple of games, man. So just continue that, keep it going.
You like the X factor matchups?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's figured since you're gonna throw one out there, we might as well just get something with it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm good. I'm good with my stuff here. You got anything else?
I'm good, man. Yeah. Score prediction, right? You already got. You said 27-13.
Yep. 27-13. We keep it rolling. I still got the beard, dude. Like something's happening. Something is going on here, man. Like if we win this one, we win the Ravens. There's something going on, man.
But wouldn't that fall into the superstitious category if something is going on?
It's a fun something going on. It's just fun.
It's just, but you're not gonna label it. It's kind of like we're not dating, but we're a situation. Like we're together, but we don't have a label on it. You put the label, it gets kind of weird.
There's something cooking. I don't know what it is.
I thought Russ is cooking. I thought he's the only one that cooks, man. Let him cook.
I told you that was.
You just gave him.
That's been over.
You gave him a. Don't say it's been overrated or overblown. No, that boy in there, top hat, chef daddy, getting after it.
He's playing good.
Tell you, that boy nice.
He's playing good, dude. I don't have a knock against Russ. I got him in my top 3. I told you that.
I don't even want to know. It's all good. It's all good. For me, man, score prediction. I'll go 24-14. I don't think it's
low scoring.
Low scoring. 24 points in the NFL is low.
I think you've said that to me whenever I've said 27. You're like, come on, crank it up to 30.
I joke with you about the 30 because we know 30 is like the magic number right now. It's kind of like a pass rusher getting 10 sacks. That's kind of like all right, that's elite. That now we know you're in the top-notch company. 24 points is still a lot. That's 3 NFL touchdowns. Think about that.
So Boz doesn't get a kick? He makes 2 extra points.
I said 24.
Oh, 24. All right.
What?
I'm just going off.
Are you listening? And then you already told me Gloskowski could miss an extra point and how pivotal that could be. I would hope that the 3 touchdowns that we scored, Boz hits his field goals.
Yeah. 3 touchdowns and a field goal.
Yeah.
I listened
That's 4 kicks.
I was listening. I listened whenever you said 3 touchdowns, and I assumed 21. But yeah, initially you said 24.
Yeah, 24-14, man. I do think, obviously, the Titans, man, they're a good NFL team, man. Their offense is clicking right now. They're going to find some ways to produce. They're going to create some issues potentially. But overall, I just think, man, once they get behind, they're not going to be able to stay fully committed to the run without the game getting out of hand from just a scoring and time standpoint. So they are going to have to rely a lot more on the pass. And I just don't think Tannehill's going to be able to make enough plays against our secondary with our pass rush, and more so Bud against how you say his name again? Sam Braylo. I just don't think that for 4 quarters, or even if it's a second half situation or just a 4th quarter of that, I don't think they're going to be able to win a game like that. Whereas obviously with Ben and the weapons that we have on offense, I don't see it being an issue at all in terms of moving the ball and throwing the ball and scoring on this team. So that's why I have that score the way it is, man.
Good with me. That's a perfect recap.
I like it, man. So, shoot, that was fun, man. We got score predictions. We had a little AFC North talk.
X Factors.
Yeah, man. X Factors, man. Can't go wrong. Even threw my dog AB in there for a little bit. So, I think it was a good episode, baby.
I definitely was.
You bringing us home, Mr. Sophisticated? Mr. Sophistication?
Sure. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. Subscribers.
So distinguished. God.
Everyone that follows us.
I'm messing up. My bad. Started from the top. I messed up. Come on, man. You got this.
No, I'm just going to say we appreciate everyone for tuning in. Till next time.
I'm in amazement right now.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry. I was in amazement. I messed it up. All right. Do it again. I love it. And don't edit that out either. I love it, man. I'm just taking it all in right here, man. All right. Give it to us. The distinguished, high and almighty, super elegant QB whisperer, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Big Beard.
Thanks. Well, we appreciate everyone for tuning in.
Until next time. Oh, peace.